topic of financial bill in Kenya. First of all, let me make my position very clear. I don't support any form of taxation increase in our country. Let me show you why. Here is why. First of all, I would like to do some comparison between United States and Kenya. That is, how are the profession and the government in the United States try to manage the economy vis-a-vis our government. Here it is. Let me touch on the corporate tax, because corporate tax is what the corporation, the industries, and the business are being subjected to. If it's high, it's shrinking the profit margin. If it's low, business make more profit and therefore they pay more tax. That is what possibly some of these people in Hesabu House don't articulate. But let me start. The corporate tax in the United States, by 2013, it was 35%. Today, it has been reduced to 21%. Let's go back to Kenya. Kenya is in Africa. Here we go. The interest rate in Kenya, in 2012, it was 30%. I mean the corporate rate. Today, it's still 30%. Now, basically, they are attempting to increase it using some tricky way. But this is what they're showing the world. But there are so many other taxes that are affecting the corporation that are actually have not been factored in here by the staffs who have actually been controlled by the CEO appointed by government to manage our economy. They sneak some of the shit, but I don't want to go into that. That's a wider topic. Now, you see the difference. There's a difference today of 9%. The corporate tax in the United States is 30%. No, it is 21%. And in Kenya, it's 30%. If you do the maths, you see a difference of 9%. Now, let's go to the interest rate. The cost for money. The cost that corporation or industries or business incur when they're borrowing money to expand or run their business. Here we are. Let's start with the United States of America. What's their interest rate? By 2022, it was 0.25%. And then they rise it in an attempt to control inflation, which was so high by that time, in order actually to reach a target of 2%. Now it's like they're almost near 2%, and now they're actually anticipating in reducing the interest rate. Right now, the interest rate in the United States of America is 5.5%. It means that a borrower in the United States will only incur a cost of 5.5%. Let's go to Kenya. Kenya is in Africa. Kenya is in Africa. The interest rate in Kenya by 2022-2021, it was 7%. Already there's a variation between United States is 0.25%, in Kenya is 7%. Now, today, what's the interest rate in Kenya today? Here it is. The interest rate in Kenya today is 13%. It means the corporation, the industry, the business people are incurring more cost in borrowing as compared to our counterparts in the United States of America. Where the hell in the world will you expect our country to be attractive to investors? Will they not put their money whereby it's cheaper to run the economy? There is another thing that most of our parliamentarians, I see them arguing about, that, you know what, we are being paid lesser tax in Kenya, especially when it's come to what we call personal income tax, and this is it. Let me go there. Let me see that. The personal income tax. If you look at it, you may think that they're right, because in the United States, personal income tax is, by 2012, it was 35%. And then they raised it to 39.6%. And then by 2018, they reduced it to 37%. Let's go to Kenya. Personal income tax. Kenya is in Africa. Here we are. What happened? Personal income tax is 30%. While that of United States, we find it was, let me confirm again. It was currently is standard 37%. There's a variation of 7%. And they say, you know, personal income in the United States is high. Let me tell you why. In the United States, if you get into a hospital, you'll be treated, get medicine, and walk out for nearly free. In the United States, when you take your kid to school, your work is just to take your kid to school, and your kid will be educated for nearly free. But in Kenya, we all know what happened. One member of your family, if he fall ill, it has a potential to bring the entire family into poverty, because you can't let your family member to die simply because you've stuck money in the bank. You'll have to help, and that means you'll be dragged back to square one. So health Kenya is very expensive. Education is very expensive. In the United States, even though the personal income is 7% above us, but the corporate, which is the most important, we are 30%, they are 21%. And something very, 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 very interesting that we all supposed to check. Look at it. 30%, 30%, 30%, 30%, 30%. And this is applicable to all personal income and corporate tax. It means that as if this Kenya is living in a world whereby there are no economic variables. Like in 2020 during COVID-19, when the world was affected by COVID-19, most countries made adjustments in order to spur economic activity in their industry. But in Kenya, we remain the same. And up until today, 30-30. What does this mean? It means that the senior officers who station themselves in that big building called Isao House, they really don't have data. They don't know if the economic variable seems to change over time. And it depends on the cyclical of economic events. Kenyans, we have a serious problem. And it's a high time we take this country into our own hand by using constitutional organs and the democratic rights that is enshrined in our constitution. Thank you, fellow Kenyans.